Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. Hold on to your terrible towels because what I'm about to share could shake up the entire AFC North, and it centers around one of the most disruptive pass rushers in the league, Maxx Crosby. Rumors are swirling that the Las Vegas Raiders, currently in a rough patch with a 2-9 record and their defense leaking points at a rate of about 28. 4 points per game, might be ready to shake things up. And the name that keeps popping up in these whispers is Maxx Crosby, a guy who's been a nightmare for NFL offensive lines since he was drafted in 2019. Now, there's speculation that the Raiders, who are in a bit of a rebuild mode after a tough start to this season, could be looking to move Crosby before the trade deadline. And the Steelers, always looking to bolster their pass rush, might be front and center in these discussions. The Raiders, sitting on around $25 million in cap space, are at a crossroads. They've got some pending deals like with Bowers, and they're in dire need of upgrades on both sides of the ball, especially at wide receiver and in the secondary. But the biggest need by far is rushing the passer. Crosby, with his relentless presence, has been a cornerstone of that Raiders defense, leading the league in pressures this season and consistently wreaking havoc in opposing backfields. His stats are nothing short of spectacular. Over 7 seasons, he's amassed 68 sacks, 250 solo tackles, and 120 assists. He's also generated about 450 pressures, forced 15 fumbles, and maintains a PFF grade hovering around 91 this year, which clearly puts him among the elite edge rushers in the league. And this season, Crosby has been a force of nature. Despite missing a game due to an ankle injury in Week 5, he came back with a vengeance, helping the Raiders turn their defensive struggles around. His pressure rate has increased by over 20%, and his sacks per game are averaging close to 1.6. What makes Crosby so dangerous isn't just his sack numbers, but his ability to generate pressure on almost every snap, constantly forcing quarterbacks into hurried throws and bad decisions. His combination of size, speed, and relentless motor makes him a nightmare for any offensive tackle, and it's no surprise that teams are eyeing him as a potential game-changer. Now, why would the Raiders consider trading Crosby? Well, it's simple. They need cap relief, and with Crosby's rising market value, they might see a deal as the best way to rebuild more quickly. The team is also in a rebuild mode on the back end, focusing on their secondary after allowing an average of 3.2 sacks per game earlier this season. They've got a lot of needs, especially in the secondary, where they're trying to rebuild their DB core, and trading Crosby could be a way to free up that cap space and acquire draft picks or young talent. But make no mistake, losing Crosby would be a huge blow for Vegas. His presence elevates their pass rush dramatically. If they do trade him, it might be to a team like the Steelers, who are always hungry for that game-changing edge rusher to complement T.J. Watt and push their defense into the top tier. So what would that mean for Pittsburgh? Well, adding Crosby to a defense that's already been solid this year would be a game-changer. Imagine Crosby lining up alongside Watt. Opponents would have double the trouble. His relentless pursuit and ability to generate pressure would boost their sack total significantly, possibly pushing the Steelers into the 60-sack range as a team, which would be a huge boost in their quest for another deep playoff run. And considering how Crosby's presence could elevate the entire defense, forcing turnovers, shutting down big plays, and increasing pressure on the quarterback, it's easy to see how he could be the missing piece that takes Pittsburgh to the next level. Looking back at the season, the Steelers have been impressive on defense, but they've still got room to grow. T.J. Watt has been phenomenal, and adding a Crosby-like presence on the other side would make this front 7 downright terrifying for offenses in the AFC. The Steelers' defense is already holding opponents to around 21.5 points per game, but with Crosby, that number could dip even lower, making the Steelers a true nightmare for quarterbacks and offensive coordinators. His ability to disrupt timing routes, collapse pocket spaces, and create turnovers fits perfectly with Pittsburgh's defensive identity: aggressive, relentless, and always attacking. Now, in terms of the division, a potential trade for Crosby would send shockwaves through the AFC North. The Ravens and Bengals are already tough opponents, But if Pittsburgh can add Crosby, they would have a defensive front that's nearly unstoppable. Think about it. Watt and Crosby rushing from the edges, combined with the Steelers' already stout linebacker core and secondary, would be a nightmare for any quarterback trying to find open receivers. It would elevate the Steelers from a good defense to an elite one, and that's exactly what they need as they push for a playoff spot. But let's not forget, there are still some hurdles. The Raiders might be hesitant to part ways with Crosby unless the offer is compelling. Considering his stats, leadership, and impact on games, he's worth multiple high draft picks or premium players. The Steelers, known for their strategic moves and keen eye for talent, could certainly put together an enticing package, especially if they see Crosby as the missing piece to finally get back to the Super Bowl spotlight. And speaking of the playoffs, Pittsburgh's chances would skyrocket with Crosby in the fold. Their odds of reaching Super Bowl LXI would improve substantially, somewhere in the plus 1,500 to plus 800 range, according to betting odds. That's a significant jump from where they stand now. Crosby's presence could be the X factor that tilts the scales in close games, especially in the postseason, where every sack, turnover, and defensive stop counts. His ability to perform in clutch moments, what analysts call EPA per clutch play, would give the Steelers that extra edge they need to push through tough defenses and hostile environments. Now, let's think about the long-term implications. If the Steelers can secure Crosby, it could set a new standard for their defense and provide a blueprint for sustained success. His arrival would be a statement to the AFC that Pittsburgh is serious about reclaiming its dominance. It would also send a message to the rest of the league that the Steelers are all in, willing to make bold moves to chase another Lombardi trophy. With Crosby anchoring the pass rush and Watt providing leadership and consistency, the Steelers could become the league's most feared defense once again. Of course, this kind of move isn't just about immediate impact. It's about legacy, building a defense that's remembered for decades as one of the best in Steelers history. Crosby's relentless pursuit of quarterbacks, his ability to generate sacks, and his reputation as a team leader make him a perfect fit for Pittsburgh's culture. His addition would energize the fan base, ignite team morale, and potentially elevate the entire franchise to new heights. In conclusion, fans, keep an eye on this story. A potential trade for Maxx Crosby would be one of the most significant moves in the NFL this season, and it could redefine the AFC North hierarchy. The Steelers have been building something special, and adding a player like Crosby might just be the final piece to push them over the top. Whether or not it happens, one thing is for sure. If the Steelers do manage to land Crosby, it would be a bold statement that they're back, and they're here to stay as serious contenders for Super Bowl LXI. And I, for one, can't wait to see how this story unfolds. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential Crosby trade? Do you think it's something the Steelers should pursue, or are they better off holding their assets? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. Remember, this is a fan-driven community, and your voice helps shape the conversation. I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Steelers news. Let's go, Steel Curtain. Let's make this season one for the history books.